everyone, Alisha here at AlishaAshley.com, and today is Mother's Day. And first I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there that does take care of their child and is actually there in their children's lives. I guess I'll just tell you all about my story. So I was born. My mother was, I think she was 19 when she had me, and she actually had support from my father at the time. And pretty much she didn't want me, but I didn't know this until maybe like 3 years ago. So pretty much I was born, and I think I stayed with her for about 3 weeks, and then my dad came and got me. So I am a daddy's girl. I've been living with my father since 3 weeks since I was old, of 3 weeks. So I've been living with my dad since then, and I've had two stepmoms. Two stepmoms. I have one currently now that I love to death. My biological mother was not there for me. She didn't do anything. It was like kind of sort of when my dad came and got me, which was because like she would drop me off at people's houses and would come get me till like late in the mornings and stuff like that. So my dad found out that she was doing that. Like, she was leaving. She lived in an apartment at the time, and she was like putting me in a car seat like 1 something in the morning. Being a young mother and having a child, like, that's not safe. That's not even smart. So she was doing that, and my dad found out. Someone told him that he was doing that, so he came over and got me immediately and took me from her. So I've been living with my dad since 3 weeks old, and I truly love my father to death. My father has put up with everything. I've done so much stuff that I just appreciate my dad so much. And so my dad got involved with my sister's mom. So she was she still is my stepmom. I still call her that today, but she had a religion, and they were together for years, and she had a religion. So my dad kind of backed off, and they kind of went their separate ways. But in the meantime, they had a daughter, which is my little sister, and I love her to death too. So anyway, let me just kind of speed up the process a little bit. So my dad got married to his wife now, and I just can't explain the relationship that we have. I just never knew that I could be so close to somebody like her. She's everything that I could have ever wanted in a mother. And one day, I was with my boyfriend, David, and he lost his mom at a young age. So one day we were at work, and he was like, "Oh, well, how come you don't talk to your mom and stuff like that no more?" I was like, "Look, it's a very difficult situation to talk about." So he's like, "Yeah, I want to meet your mom. I want to do this and do that." So I was like, "Okay." So I called her up, because at the time we were somewhat kind of talking. So I called her up, and I talked to her, and I was like, "Hey, David and I are going to come over to see you when we get off work." This is at the time I was working. So she said, "Okay." So we drove from DC to her house, maybe about 2 hours away. So we drove there, and, he got to know her a little bit. And then she was talking and telling him her story and stuff like that of, how she was a young mother, and I guess she really wasn't ready. But she sat there, and while I was like playing, because she had another child, and I was playing with him, but I was in the dining room and she was in the living room. So I heard the whole conversation. So she was just like, "I really didn't want Alisha." And my heart dropped. For you to say something like that, it just made me so bitter. And I came over to her, and I was just like, "Okay, well," I just played it off. I was like, "Okay, it's time to go." So she was like, "Oh, you don't have to go." So I was like, "Yeah, we have to go." So we left, and we got in the truck, and I just boo-hoo cried the whole entire night. I cried so much, and I went to work the next morning, and I couldn't manage, because I just had that thought in my head, like, my mother did not want me. She didn't want me. That's what she said. She said it out of her mouth, and I heard her, and then he heard her too. So it just was like, okay, I know I didn't just make that up. She said that she did not want me, and that just made me so crazy. So I went to work the next day and I couldn't manage, and I called my stepmom, Dolores, and I was just letting her know, like, oh my gosh, I could not believe that she just told me that. Like, and I cried and I vented to her while I was at work, and I had to leave work because I couldn't manage. I couldn't focus. So I left work, and my mother, well, my biological mother, because I do not call her my mother. My biological mother called me, well, she kept calling me, and I never answered the phone. And I was like, I never talked to her for 3 years. 3 years after that day, I didn't talk to her no more because I just felt like, wow, you just dropped a bomb on me for real. So I guess she talked to my stepfather at the time because she was married. She talked to him, and it took him to tell her, like, Valerie, what did you tell Alisha? Because it's just no way. And then she said, she just went over the conversation. He was like, do you realize what you just told her? And she said, no, I didn't know. And then he told her, and she was just like, I didn't mean to say that. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. So all this blew over. 3 years later, she calls me again. I finally answered the phone, and she left me a message, and then I called her back. So we just tried to clean up everything. We really tried to clean up everything. So I opened my heart back up to her. I was calling her mom again, but when I refer to her like I'm talking about her, I would say my biological mother, because at that time I still didn't feel that connection with her. I still felt like she was being fake towards me. So we started hanging out. We started going to breakfast, and she started coming to my house, and I was doing her hair, doing the mother-daughter stuff that I've always lacked. I'm not gonna say always lacked, but lacked with her. So she came over, and okay, so my birthday last year, 2012. My birthday, we went out to dinner. She was saying that, she didn't have the money to go out to dinner, and it wasn't even an expensive restaurant. So anyway, we went out, and my boyfriend ended up paying for the entire meal, everybody's meal. So he paid for everybody's meal, and then at the end, she was just like, okay, well, Alisha, I'm gonna get you, because I just asked her for a phone case because the iPhone was coming out, and I wanted a new case before I got my phone. So pretty much, she lied about that. And when I was out of town, I called her. I was like, hey, I'm coming home tomorrow. Can we go to the store so I get my case? She was like, oh, well, I don't really have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. I was just like, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. So that just blew up. And she called me, and she was like, well, she's just cursing me out for no reason, pretty much. So we went to dinner. Well, from dinner, I just asked her just to give me the money back from dinner. And she just got so upset. And she was like, well, I called the restaurant, and I found out how much exactly my meal was, and I'm going to bring you the money over there. And pretty much, I haven't talked to her since. And I feel like I shouldn't have to keep trying to make this work with her. It's just ridiculous. I just don't know what to say about her. But my biological mother is not in my life right now, and one day, I guess when I'm ready to talk to her seriously, then I'll call her. But I don't associate with her, and I am just so blessed that my father has put these powerful two women in my life, because there have been days where I couldn't get through because I just get so upset, especially just seeing like moms and daughters like out at the mall, shopping together and stuff like that. And I just think like I never really had that with my mother. So if you have a mom and you really are close to her, please make it work, because I miss those thoughts. I mean, I just wish I've always had that. And it's one thing to do it with, my stepmom, but sometimes I just be like, I wish it was just her. So, like I said, if you have a mom and, she's in your life, please just work all your problems out, because at the end of the day, that is your biological mother. And I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. So you all have a blessed Mother's Day, and I will see you all later. Bye.